Should the title Commissioner Marty Ramirez be changed to Chair
Oh,
Marty
yes.
Ramirez?
Thank you. Thank you. Sorry, Marty.
Oh, no problem.
There we go. Like we're live.
All right. The March 28th, 2025 Oregon State Lottery Commission meeting is now in session. It is noted for the record that commissioners are attending this meeting via the web, and a quorum of commissioners is present for today's meeting. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Conrad?
Here.
Commissioner Geller?
Here.
Commissioner Weller?
Here.
Commissioner Wilcox?
Here.
Chair Ramirez?
Here. Will the clerk please inform the commission of who else is in the meeting?
Yes, joining us today is Nate Carter from the Department of Justice.
Members of the public had an opportunity to provide written public comments to the commission for the meeting. A full copy, can the clerk please confirm that no public comment was received?
That is correct. We did not receive any this month.
Okay. Before I hand it over to Director Wells, I do want to acknowledge, Chair Sadoff, who served in this role for many, many years. So it's big shoes for me to fill. So I ask for your patience because this is my first meeting where I have to run the meeting. And it doesn't help that I'm traveling, so I'm trying to do it from a hotel room while I have a cold at the same time. So just bear with me as we get through this first meeting. So hand it over to Director Wells for the director's report.
Well, good morning, Chair Ramirez. Thank you for that. And commissioners, I'd like to start today by extending a warm welcome to our newest commission member, Jennifer Geller. Commissioner Geller brings a wealth of experience in public service to the Lottery Commission. Currently, she serves as the Managing Director of Public Service and Policy at the University of Oregon School of Law. Previously, she has served as an Assistant Attorney General for the Washington State Attorney General's Office. Commissioner Geller has a strong commitment to public education and libraries. She has been a faculty member at the University of Oregon's Teaching and Learning Center and has been actively involved with the Eugene Public Library Foundation and the Eugene School Board. Beyond her professional roles, if that's not enough, Commissioner Geller has also dedicated over 18 years of volunteer service to numerous boards, committees, and task forces, further demonstrating her dedication to public service. So I'd like to just extend a warm welcome to our newest commission member, Commissioner Geller. We're very excited to have you as part of the team. So thank you again for your dedication. I'm going to start my report today with a reminder that March is Problem Gaming Awareness Month. Oregon Lottery collaborates both locally and nationally to promote prevention, treatment, and recovery services. This year's theme is Seeking Understanding, which focuses on increasing awareness of problem gambling as a serious but often misunderstood mental health condition. We released new responsible gaming training for our video lotteries retailers this month. That typically reaches over 4,500 staff with that responsible gaming training. So excited to have that outreach. Additionally, we're working to normalize safer play in our marketing outreach, and also released our annual Responsible Gaming Impacts Report, which covers goals, program metrics, and key accomplishments for the year. We're going to have staff joining us next month to provide you guys more details on that report. On the legislative front, there's 2 lottery bills that have moved forward in recent weeks and are in the other chamber now awaiting more hearings and discussion. You can find more detailed information in your packets regarding legislative information. But we'll continue to monitor those and keep you guys updated as we move forward. Also, Lottery's controller, Carl Strauss, presented an overview of Lottery's operations, finances, and our game portfolio to the Ways and Means Subcommittee and did a great job here recently. So I appreciate his time in those presentations. Some exciting news. In an effort to meet our DEIB strategic plan goals, a cross-departmental lottery team determined there were several critical documents that should be translated into the top languages spoken in Oregon for our retailers and our players. We now have winner claim forms and 27 critical retailer-facing documents available in 5 languages: Spanish, Vietnamese, simplified Chinese, traditional Chinese, Russian, and Korean. This work will be ongoing into fiscal year 26 as we continue to assess what documents have the most need for translation and get those documents translated and into the field. So also special thanks to the teams involved in this. This has been a great deal of work to get this accomplished, and it's great to see it finally coming to fruition. Also this month, Oregon Lottery earned 2 awards from the Public Relations Society of America. The Public Relations Society of America's annual Awards of Distinction and Spotlight Awards event was dedicated to recognize the outstanding contributions of public relations and communication professionals in Oregon and Southwest Washington. Our team, Oregon Lottery, took home a merit award for our media relation efforts around the historic $1.3 billion Powerball win. We also won a Spotlight Award and Best in Show for our video introducing Oregon's Teacher of the Year, Dr. Mandy Vance. So I'd like to say congratulations to our communications and marketing team for this amazing honor. They put a lot of time and effort into these things, and it's nice to actually be recognized for that work. Lottery has experienced some significant changes in executive leadership and our commissioners in the last few years. And over time, some commission duties and responsibilities have been delegated to the director. And I think for all of us, it's been kind of lost over these years as to who is doing what. So I thought it was important time to just review the laws and the rules governing lottery, refresh us on the core functions of the commission duties, the director duties, and then document those items which have been delegated. Chris Scarro worked with Nate Carter from the Department of Justice, who's our general counsel, to gather and review this information. There's a memo in your meeting materials which serves to document that lottery will continue to carry out specific duties, what duties will continue to be held by the commission, and then documents those items that have been delegated. So we felt like just getting this down in writing and clarifying those roles and responsibilities would be good at this time. So certainly if you have questions about that, we can get a team together and answer those. But really, this was just an opportunity to try to get in writing what's actually been happening for many years so that it's clear to all of us.
Congratulations to everyone that worked on that memo. It's very comprehensive. I didn't realize sometimes that we had so many responsibilities. So thanks again to everybody that did that.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, I think for all of us, it was nice to see all that in writing. Sometimes it is hard to just go through rule and law and figure out what those responsibilities are. So it's very useful to us in-house as well. Moving on to our finances, also in your meeting materials, you should have a draft of February's financial statements, which will be presented for your approval next month. So as you review those, if you have any questions, please let us know and we'll ensure we get additional details and information to you either between now and the February meeting or address those in the February meeting, depending on what they are. Sales, overall sales are trending down by about 2% from last year. A bright spot is our scratch-its, which are actually up nearly 11%. As I shared last month, our top ticket continues to be the $30 lottery anniversary themed scratch-it ticket. The $20 price point also has increased ahead of last year by almost 36%. For draw games, Powerball sales are behind last year by nearly 50%. This is due to a $1.75 billion jackpot in October of 23 and an $842 million jackpot in January of 24, which pushed heightened sales for last fiscal year. Powerball has had 8 consecutive jackpots below 500 million since May of 2024. So when you have these long jackpot runs, we seem to have higher sales. When the jackpots get hit more regularly, sales tend to be down. So people want to win more than $1 billion is really what it's turning into. Our upcoming sales will be competing with the $1.3 billion jackpot that was won here in Oregon in April. Mega Millions sales are also slightly down by 2% due to the jackpot cycle in comparison to last year. Video lottery is almost identical to last year's sales, down by 0.2% at this point. And sports betting is seeing strong growth with wager amounts up by almost 19% over last year. And a few winner stories. First-time lottery winner, Nicole C. from Eugene, hit a Big City Fives diamond jackpot worth $15,623.90 at Jasper's Fast Track. As she was sitting at the machine in shock and nervous by her win, it took an employee to come over, encourage her to sign her ticket, and escort her to her car to get her out of the bar. Nicole plans on celebrating with her mom and is helping her purchase a new car. Desiree M. of Yamhill bought one of our 40th anniversary scratchets during her lunch break at the T&E General Store in Yamhill. She originally thought the ticket was a $600 winner, but decided to confirm the win by scanning it with Oregon Lottery's app. She gasped when she saw it was actually a $40,000 win across her screen. She claimed it the following day at the Wilsonville office and will put most of the prize money into savings. And Charles I. from Salem won an 8-spot Keno for $67,996.70. He purchased his ticket from Geppetto's Italian Restaurant. Besides the excitement of winning a large Keno prize, he wanted his photo taken by lottery staff to share. The reason? Bragging rights, since his prize was larger than any prize won by his father, and he couldn't wait to tell him. And that, Chair Ramirez and Commissioners, concludes my report for this month.
And are there any comments or questions from the commissioners to Director Wells? No? Then we'll move on to the minutes from the previous meeting. So the minutes of the previous commission meeting have been circulated to the commission in advance of today's meeting. If there are no changes to the minutes, is there a motion to approve?
I move that the minutes of the Oregon State Lottery Commission meeting held on February 28th, 2025 be approved as final as presented today.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Conrad,
Aye.
Commissioner Geller,
Aye, and I want to note for the record, I was not a commissioner, but I did watch your meeting, so I'm going to vote on that basis.
thank you. Commissioner Weller,
Aye.
Commissioner Wilcox,
Aye.
Chair Ramirez.
Aye. Now we'll move on to rulemaking, and I'll hand it over to Chris Scarl.
Thank you, Chair Ramirez, Commissioners, Director Wells. For the record, my name is Chris Scarl. I'm the Rules and Policy Analyst for Lottery, and we have one rulemaking item for you today. So back in January, we talked about how Muscle had announced some changes to the Mega Millions game. And for those who aren't familiar, Muscle is the affectionate term for the Association of Lotteries who come together to offer national draw games like Mega Millions, and Powerball. And they've announced these changes to really respond to clear player preference for bigger and more frequent jackpots. As you just heard Mike explain, really jackpot size does drive sales. And so that's the main purpose of these changes, as well as leading to higher non-jackpot prize amounts and overall improved odds of winning a jackpot. So we are a member of Muscle, so we do need to update our game rules to reflect the game as it will be offered starting on April 5th. And so in January, I presented draft rule changes, which would increase the ticket price from $2 to $5, provide a free prize multiplier with every ticket purchased. We update the game matrix and odds of winning and repeal some previous promotions that are being replaced by these new game features. So we've completed the public rulemaking process for these changes, which is documented in the rulemaking report in your meeting materials, but briefly for the record, we filed notice with the Secretary of State in January, notified interested parties, certain legislators and media about the proposed changes and the opportunity to comment, provided 5 weeks for the public to comment in writing, and we held a rulemaking hearing, but we did not receive any public comment for you to consider today. Director Wells has reviewed the rules and recommends the Commission adopt them as they're presented to you today to be effective on April 5th. And so that is all I have for you, but I'm happy to answer questions, and you'll also have a motion in your materials if you are inclined to make a motion.
I would like to acknowledge the process that we go through on this rulemaking, that I really appreciate the fact that we go over it once in a meeting and then we go over it again in a meeting. So we've seen it by the time it gets to the public vote. We've had many months to look over these rulemaking changes. So I really appreciate how thorough that process is to propose a change in the rules.
Well, that's good feedback. You know, I think we actually didn't used to do it that way. We would just present them to you and you would adopt them. But I think Chair Sathoff changed that several years ago. So it's good to know that's working.
Any other comments or questions from the Commission?
Chair,
Commissioner
Marty,
Wells?
if I may, yeah. I would just like to point out that there is something on Chris's report on the legislative session update, which states that there is House Bill 3115 working its way through the legislature, which there are two major aspects that I see. Presuming it gets passed, it would prohibit the sale or purchase of winning lottery tickets. And as amended, it prohibits taxpayers from deducting the purchase price paid for a winning lottery ticket from their Oregon income taxes. And I totally applaud the legislature, the workings of our committee and commission, and all of the staff people who have been involved with this. Those are two excellent moves, in my humble opinion. I'm a CPA with a lot of years of experience, and I continue to do tax returns. And to me, this has been a loophole that has been badly abused over the years. And this appears to me to be an excellent step forward. Just wanted to comment on that. Thank you, Chris, for including it in the report. Obviously, I don't have time to follow all of this stuff, and I appreciate your efforts to make sure that we stay informed as to what's going on. Thank you.
Thank you. Good feedback.
All right. If there are no other comments or questions, is there a motion to adopt the proposed rulemaking?
I move that OAR 177-098 be amended and repealed as presented in the meeting materials today, effective April 5th, 2025.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Conrad,
Aye.
Commissioner Geller,
Aye.
Commissioner Weller,
Aye.
Commissioner Wilcox,
Aye.
Chair Ramirez,
Aye. With that, we'll move on to Director Wells with a major procurement.
Thank you, Chair. Last month, if you remember, I shared information regarding a request to enter into a major procurement with IGT, International Gaming Technologies, to acquire term-based fixed pricing on the purchase of new video lottery terminal hardware, software, and associated services, and would now like to request approval. As a reminder, this is a new master service agreement, which will replace the current contract lottery entered into in 2018 to facilitate the field trial and the purchase of our Crystal Dual video lottery terminals. The previous MSA has required numerous amendments and only allows lottery to purchase a specific video lottery terminal model offered by IGT. The new MSA will incorporate current business practices for entering into field trials, purchases, and game development contracts, and will afford the video product team the controls to evaluate and purchase more than one video lottery terminal model. Executing the new MSA will sustain the video products team's current vendor diversity for product development with an active vendor that has proven a track record with the Oregon Lottery for many years. So unless there are questions, you do have a motion in your meeting materials for this major procurement.
I do have a question with all the tariff activity going on, do you know if these VLTs are impacted by any of that activity so far?
So far, we haven't seen anything, but definitely something we are monitoring for sure.
Okay. All right. Are there any other comments or questions from the commission?
I've got a quick one follow up on yours, Chair. Director, so with the question about the tariffs, does this lock in the price then? Or after the contract is signed, can the price still go up or down? Some of the terminology used sounded like the price for the VLTs was going to be locked in, but I just want to clarify that.
I don't actually have the answer to that for you, Chair or Commissioner Conrad. I will get that answer to you.
Thank you.
I will add, because I deal a lot with this and outside of the commission with the work that I do, that even when people have contracts right now, they're using the force majeure portion of to say this is an extraordinary event that voids anything in a contract. So it's something, Director Wells, as you go through that contract, to watch out for that specific language as you go forward with that.
Thank you. No, that's good advice.
All right, if there are no more comments or questions, is there a motion to approve the major procurement request?
I move that the Oregon State Lottery Commission authorize the director of the Oregon Lottery to enter into a major procurement with IGT to acquire term-based fixed pricing on the purchase of video lottery terminal hardware, software, and associated services as presented today.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Conrad,
Aye.
Commissioner Geller,
Aye.
Commissioner Weller,
Aye.
Commissioner Wilcox,
Aye.
Chair Ramirez.
Aye. For the record, the motion has passed. And I want to move on to
Chair Ramirez, if I could interrupt for just one moment. My amazing team has already answered Commissioner Conrad's question. So yes, the pricing is locked in. What we're still in negotiations on is the term, and it's because of the tariffs. They don't want to lock those prices in should the tariffs cause increases. And so we're still negotiating on how long. We're really pushing for at least 18 months, but we will see where those negotiations land. But yes, the pricing is locked in for the length of this contract.
Thank you, Director. I appreciate it. I've got a quick follow-up, if I may, Chair. So with that, the approval that we just did for you to enter into the contract to negotiations, did we hamstring your negotiating power by already approving this if you're still working out one of the conditions of that? And the key leverage obviously being going elsewhere. So do we need to do something different, or you still feel like you're in a good spot to continue on with those negotiations?
No, we're in a good spot to do that. This IGT has been in partnership with us for many, many years. Again, we've been in contract with them since 2018, and this is really something that both of us knew needed to be done, that we needed to renew these contracts. So I don't think this changes those negotiating powers that would be in our favor.
Thank you.
I believe we have a possible backdoor, should it be necessary, should questions come up during the further negotiations, and that's that the motion was to authorize the director to enter into the contract. That means he's authorized to do so. He could conceivably decline for some substantial reason like that, in which case it would come back to us as to whether or not the contract should be signed. So I think we're fine.
Thank you. So moving on to Commissioner Communications, I want to turn it over to Commissioner Weller to give an update from the Audit Committee.
Unmute my audio. The Lottery Audit Committee meeting was held this morning prior to this commission meeting. The Audit Committee was briefed on the Internal Audit Department's strategic plan that outlines its vision, mission, short and long-term goals designed to help the function fulfill its mandate. Global internal audit standards require that the internal audit manager develop and implement a strategy for the internal audit function that supports the strategic objectives and success of the organization and aligns with the expectations of the Audit Committee and senior management. The Audit Committee did not have any concerns about internal audit's strategic plan and believes it aligns with the strategic objectives of the lottery. The Audit Committee was also briefed on the results of internal audit's calendar year 2024 performance measurement scorecard. The Internal Audit Department has established 5 key performance measures that include both quantitative and qualitative assessments of the function. These include measures such as the percent of completed versus planned engagements, percent of direct audit time spent by staff, the percent of audit engagements completed on time, percent of audit recommendations agreed upon by management, and the percent of end of audit survey responses resulting in a good or excellent rating. All 5 key performance measures were successfully met for calendar year 2024. And in fact, 3 of those were met at 100% level. The Audit Committee also received an update on management's progress in addressing high-risk audit recommendations made by Deloitte last year in its assessment of the Finance and Accounting Department's key business cycle controls. This included key business cycle controls such as financial reporting, payroll, inventory, and accounts payable and receivable. Total of 24 high-risk recommendations were made as part of Deloitte's review. To date, the Finance and Accounting Department has taken corrective actions to fully address 22 of the 24 recommendations, and the remaining 2 recommendations are scheduled to be resolved in coming months. Can't ask for better than that. Lastly, the Audit Committee received an update on 2 audit engagements that are currently in progress and a status report on the completion of internal audit's calendar for 2025 audit plan. One additional comment simply coming from me personally, I think the Internal Audit Department is doing an excellent job. I used to be an internal auditor at one point in my career, and I know the kinds of situations that they face, and it appears to me that they are doing their job, doing it appropriately, and helping people to understand that an internal audit department is not there to point fingers at people. It is there to help the organization with its processes and procedures and make recommendations for improvements that they see and address any concerns that are presented to them. My personal opinion is they are doing an excellent job with what they do and how they are communicating it to the commission. This concludes my Audit Committee update. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Weller. Is there any other commissioner communications or other business? All right. Then this concludes today's meeting of the Oregon State Lottery Commission. The next meeting is scheduled on Friday, April 25th. Thank you all for attending. The meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, commissioners. Have a great
Thank you
weekend.
all.
All right.
Thank
Sure.
you, one and all.
Thank you.
Jennifer, welcome.
I look forward to working with you.